Hey everybody, it's Matt here, and today we're doing another episode of Did I Get What I Ordered? And today's episode is going to be a lot more calm and chillaxed compared to the last episode we did, talking about a somewhat recent GameStop sale from last year. So I have some footage backed up, a little backlog. But point is that this one's going to be a lot calmer, but it's still going to be a weird kind of mix of games. You will never guess what these games are from. I'll give you a hint. You can guess in the comments before we get to the pickup section. So it's a game on the 3DS and 2 games on the PS2. And for any of you long-time watchers out there of Did I Get What I Ordered, and if you're not a long-time watcher, long-time subscriber, you can do that down below. Point is, if you've been watching this for a while, the 2 PS2 games are related to a franchise of a game series that I already got on this series. Matt, that could literally be anything. Alright, I'll give you one more hint. It is from a Nintendo family of consoles, which aren't the 3DS. So I'm sure that narrows it down heavily. And I don't think you'll ever, very much like a few episodes ago, I don't think you'll ever see these games in the same video on YouTube, or you ever have. So, let's find out. Alright, so looking at our first game, and it seems to be wrapped really well. And when I say really well, I mean a bit too well. So let me shred this open off camera. And that's what I did, off camera. Now, this was definitely pretty difficult to open, as you can see, just looking at this wrapping. But you know what? Hey, it was secure, so that's good. So, this is clearly the PS2 game, but what franchise is this from? Victorious Boxers, Ippo's Road to Glory. And you can see the sports sticker right there. So, this is a box that doesn't feel good at all. Feels kind of grimy. You can even see that right there. I don't know what that is, and quite frankly, I don't want to know. Anyway, so this is actually from the Hajime no Ippo series. So if you remember, there was a Wii game that we talked about a while back, and yes, it was related to this series. So obviously Wii game was released a little bit later. This covers the first arc from the anime, so the Wii game does recover some stuff from this game, from this arc. Of course, the game is going to play differently because you're playing it on the PS2. It does, I say it first arc, but if there's 43 different playable characters, I assume it goes a bit farther than just the first arc, if you will. I'm a little bit familiar with Hajime no Ippo, but not as much as I would like, so I want to get into that anime. They are re-releasing it, thankfully. I believe it might be Discotech is doing that, so I might check that out. Sadly, we never got the manga here, despite the fact that we got this game and the Wii game. Oh god, look at that. Yeah, no, this box is not in good shape, but the question is the game? Because I knew that I wasn't getting a manual. I was fine with that. I don't remember off the top of my head how much this cost. Oh no, that sticker is not fun. I am not a fan of that sticker, only because I wonder if it's going to harm me being able to actually read the data. Play on Movie Gallery, that's very interesting. Don't know if that was a regional place somewhere, if you know that, if it is or not. Wait, it says disc 1. That's odd. I'm going to look up online, see if... Ooh, that doesn't look good. I'll look up and see if there's a reason why it says disc 1, if I'm missing something, or if it matters, whatever it is I might be missing. Either way, though, we're going to check this game out soon, and also worth mentioning, the price will be on the screen right now, so you can see how much I spent for this, and quite frankly, if it works, I do think it was worth it. So let's see if this game is going to work. I mean, it loaded. That's good. Come on now. What are you gonna do? There we go. That's good. So looking at this cutscene, while I'm happy that it's not from the anime, you're probably saying something along the lines of, oh my god, Jesus Christ, what in the hell, what in the hell? But here's the thing, right? So depending on the character model, really, I think it's just in the eyes. The eyes really tell a story, and that story is usually, Jesus Christ, what the fuck, right? But here's the thing, though. Well, 2 things, actually. I believe I mentioned this last time when we talked about this game on the Wii, but it's so odd that they went with the Victorious Boxers branding, because that is not what the anime was called in the US. So it's very strange that they went with that, and because they referenced the manga so much, I do wonder if there was some tie-in, if they were going to bring it over as Victorious Boxers, and maybe it just didn't work out. Again, pure speculation on my end. But when looking at some of these cutscenes, you're probably also thinking, this must be very early PS2. And you're right. So this game came out in Japan in the year 2000 and in the US in 2001. So it is, and by the way, looking at some of these cutscenes, again, I think that they look really good. But again, some of them, the eyes are outright terrifying. But really though, it's so interesting that this is such an early game in the PS2's lifespan, because we'll tell as we go along, but it is very bare bones in many different ways. And honestly, I'm kind of happy that they released more EPO games in the US, because I don't know if this is the best way we really should have been experiencing EPO. So as we go into story mode, you can't hear this, but I'll be telling you what I heard when I first played it, just muting the audio just in case, as I usually do with these videos. So when it comes to this game, there's no voiceover work whatsoever. There are cutscenes, but unlike the Wii version, which kind of really holds your hand through the story, assuming that maybe you did not read or watch it, this is assuming that you got his kind of road, even just with that cutscene alone. You understood how Ippo found the gym and started on his journey, which maybe the manual also explained stuff that the game clearly is not doing, but it's very odd that they just kind of threw me right into this with a cutscene. Funnily enough, a really cool thing I mentioned last time, they brought over the English voice actors from the anime to do the voiceover work for the Wii. So again, this is so early that they don't even have any voiceover work like I mentioned before. It's just, hey, here you go, I'm going to teach you how to play the game, go play it. And it's really not a good entryway for anyone who doesn't really know much about the series, which I would imagine, I don't know how well Ippo, to be fair, the anime did in the US at the time. Maybe it did way better than I'm projecting. But when it comes to this game, I just have a feeling that it didn't do well with the barrier of entry. I don't believe Ippo aired on TV in the US at the time. Could be wrong about that. So if it did, then never mind. This was a great idea. But I have a feeling that this, only really worked in Japan, where obviously the manga had been going at the time. I think I mentioned this last time when we talked about it on the Wii. The manga had gone on for about 20 years, I think, at that point. Well, no, 2000. So about maybe 12 to 14 years, I believe. So either way, though, as you can tell from just the way that I'm sucking at this game, I suck at this game. I need to get better at it, but I think maybe I need to bring down the difficulty level, because I was getting my butt kicked in ways that, yes, this character that he's up against, that Ippo's up against, is his Vegeta, that's his rival, but man, does it hurt. However, I did end up getting better at the game, even though this guy is really running circles around me, and this is like an exhibition type match, so even though it's in story mode, so like I just really felt like I had nothing. I felt like it was much harder than it needed to be, and that's why, honestly, I'm not going to recommend this game necessarily unless you know the anime and you want maybe a more challenging boxing game. But personally, I like the Wii version because even though it was still challenging, it definitely was a bit faster. But again, maybe I just need to lower the difficulty. Maybe I had it on normal mode and they're like, no, normal means you're going to completely get wrecked. So either way, again, if you don't know this anime, not really recommending this one to you. And what is our second game, you're asking yourself? Well, it's Victorious Boxers 2. Sorry, we can't do the big reveal. I opened it up off camera. It was also very difficult to open up. This one is called Fighting Spirit. Both of these games, funnily enough, I would say that they're super rare or hard to find, but people who clearly enjoy the series have sought them out, and they didn't really sell that well, I would argue, based on the fact that there was only an anime adaptation that came out in the US, no manga. So I do think that might be why when you see specifically this one online as well, it does seem to track higher than the first game on the PS2. Not saying that it should be worth a lot of money. I'll tell you how much I paid for. Specifically, you'll see it flash on the screen right now, and that was a good deal. And it's so funny that it says manga series right there, despite the fact that, again, we never got it in the US. Super weird. And also the fact that they even used manga and not like Japanese comic book or something like that. Also very interesting. The state of this box, thankfully, even though there's that little weird stain on the left hand side, much better than the other box, which is nice. Now opening this up, thankfully it did come with a manual, which is nice. Did not think I would be able to get one with a manual, but it does seem to not have a lot in it, funnily enough, but it still is a manual nonetheless. Okay, oddly enough, they went for manga comic in the manual. Not saying it's the same people translating the manual that would be translating the back of the box, but still odd that they went with manga nonetheless. And because I don't know too much about the story, I don't know if they're continuing from the first game or if they're actually just kind of retreading that story. A little strange either way though, because again, we're not supposed to know too much about this, so it's just very odd that I still feel this way, that we got both of these games in the US. Now, looking at the disc itself, it looks really nice, actually, which is, again, pretty cool, especially compared to the first game, which, hey, you know what, it worked, but still really worried me, definitely. Now, the back of this game does not look good, so that's a little scary, just not gonna lie. I'm very happy that this game, well, I don't like that it has that thumbprint, but I am happy that this game clearly was at a lot of people use this game. I don't know if it was at one home, how many homes it went to, but either way, I'm happy that people enjoyed this game when they had it. But again, there's a lot of scratches here, so I'm definitely nervous. Nothing game breaking, nothing cracking the disc at all. Reference to last episode, very upset about that even still. But you know what, hey, this game looks like it might not work, question mark, but you know what, we're gonna find out together. Alright, so do you work? Come on, I mean the last one did, let's hope that this one does as well. Come on now. Okay, there we go. So we're going to bring up some fun facts. So fun fact about the first game, remember the one that had disc 1 on it? Yeah, there was no disc 2 in the US, not sure why it had disc 1. Also, there is a DVD trailer that I will not be showing because it has clips from the anime, but at least they are promoting the anime in this game, which is nice. Another fun fact, while this game does have no voiceover work, I do think that the cutscenes and the models definitely look better than the first game because this game did come out in 2004/2005. Also very relevant as well, there is a game that came out in between these games that was technically Victorious Boxers 2, or Hajime no Ippo 2, but sadly it never came out here, it was stuck in Japan, and that one, interestingly enough, was a simulator. So you weren't just boxing, you were also trying to manage your diet and your workout routine. Very interesting stuff. Not super interested myself, but I do think that it's interesting that they actually released that under the Hajime no Ippo brand, but it never got brought over here. Maybe they thought if the first one didn't do well, which I actually looked it up in between these two, it did not. So if it didn't do well, maybe they were thinking, you know what, let's go with one that, sadly, it does retell the story from the first one. But you know what, if at first you don't succeed, there are some more sound effects in this one. So even though there is no dialogue, no voiceover work like I mentioned before, it does kind of feel just more polished than that first one did, where that first one, not in every respect, but in certain respects, it definitely felt like it could have been a late stage PS1 game. So the fact that it was, again, so early PS2, I think that might have hindered it a bit, but with how popular the anime manga was in Japan, makes sense that they wanted to bring it over. Although I don't even know if there was an anime at the time in Japan when they brought the first one over. So again, maybe they were trying to do something with the manga that just didn't pan out. Either way, you are fighting your rival again. You can see I am getting my butt kicked again. I don't think this is a winnable battle. I think that's the whole point of this first battle, but to be very fair, I could also just suck. So as you can see, I got my butt kicked, I'm down for the count. But when we go to that second match, which again is another exhibition type match, I'm doing okay. I mean, we're going blow for blow here, but I did end up winning in the end. So while these two games are a bit more lackluster compared to the Wii one, I'm still happy that they worked nonetheless because I did spend money on them. So at the very least, I want to make sure that these games work. So I don't know what'll happen when we get to later parts of the disc, to be fair, but something I do know and something that we should definitely take note of, it's the theme of this episode, is look at the eyes. Jesus H. Christ. I know it's better than the first one, but still, Jesus. And is our third game gonna have some big, huge, dramatic unboxing? Well, no. Yes, this is Chibi-Robo Ziplash. Yes, this game, I've heard a lot of bad things about it. I'm not really familiar with the Chibi-Robo series, so if you're wondering, Matt, why would you buy this, and would you even, before we even check if it works, which I mean, it's sealed, so it should work, but you never know. But, hey, look at some of that stuff, what's going on with the Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire cards. So, the question is, why would I even buy this game? Well, while the other two, while their prices were sadly slipping my mind, escaping me, here's the thing. This game, I remember it vividly. It was $5 on Amazon. Literally $5, which means that even if this game sucks, $5 means that I'm gonna get some kind of enjoyment out of it, right? Maybe? Probably? Either way, I'm never gonna buy amiibos. But nothing against amiibos. You love amiibos, you're great. Tristan loves amiibos. Usually on the channel, one of my best friends loves amiibos. I don't. So I'm never gonna buy that amiibo. But again, this game was $5. Brand new. I definitely wanted to get it, check it out, see if it works, and let's actually open it up right now. So I'm not necessarily expecting anything, and I was right not to. This is just the game. I'm not going to take a look at the back of it because I assume it's going to be just fine, but let's actually test the game out right now. Good news, everyone! It recognizes Chibi-Robo Ziplash. But terrible news, everyone. It recognizes Chibi-Robo Ziplash. Okay, but for real though, this game is a lot of fun. Now, like I mentioned before, I never got into the series before, so maybe the other games blow this one out of the water. But this game is still fun nonetheless. So when looking at just kind of what's going on, so your whole routine is disrupted by aliens, which I don't know if that's something that normally happens throughout the franchise, but you do have to kind of get around by zip lashing, using your electrical kind of socket cable to just run around and kind of attach yourself to things and use that to jump around. There's also other kind of various puzzle mechanics in this game. It isn't too difficult to pick up. They are kind of holding your hand throughout it, but you know, if you're looking for something that's just really kind of calm and chill, you know, you just went through a much longer gaming session and you just want to kind of play something, kind of just be a little bit more relaxed, I think that this is the game for you. So, you know, is this a game that I'm going to probably fall in love with? Honestly, I don't know about that just yet, but I have enjoyed it so far. I will be getting back to it in my personal time, and again, it was for $5, right? If it was, you know, if I got it brand new and I was huge into the series, I can see why some people would not really like this kind of simple, kind of more relaxed kind of game. But again, if the other ones were that much more either difficult or challenging, or, you know, they kind of just, the game mechanics were a lot better, again, I don't know. But if you're getting into this for $5 and you've never really experienced the series, I think that it's a lot of fun. I should also mention that not only can you use this cord to break blocks, but you can also use it to attack enemies. What was weird for me though is it looked like this was kind of the boss of this world, this first world that I was in, and it was a one-hit KO. So again, I want a more relaxed experience, but this is very easy. Granted, the first world, or, you know, the first level, but it was very, very easy at that end point. Throughout the level was actually very interesting twists and turns, but at the end there, I was like, what was that? That was it? So before we jump back to the shelf, one thing that I want to note that's kind of interesting but also very odd is that instead of moving on to the next world, there is a destination wheel. And I'm not really a big fan of that because you kind of just spin around these worlds. And so what I'm curious about is, am I going to end up having to, if I get back to, let's say, World 1 on the wheel, because whenever you get one, it moves you up another space, will I have to replay that world? So I'm not a big fan of this destination wheel thing. I think it makes no sense, unless of course it's a series staple or something, but personally I think that they should not have had this. I would just prefer moving on to the next level. You know, I don't know if I have to complete every single one before moving on to the next world or, you know, section of the game, so I'm just not a fan of it personally. I mean, come on. You know by now, if I say you're never going to see these together, you never will, or you never have. I mean, Chibi-Robo, the 3DS one that people have some reservations about, and 2 games from the Hajime no Ippo series. Now, you know, in the US, or no, I say now, but at the time, referred to as Victorious Boxers. So, yeah, I wanted to get those 2 to potentially talk about them in a future episode of Retrospective over at our Lost in Translation channel. The channel should be up, so you can actually take a look at that in the description box down below. And Chibi-Robo was just so cheap that I thought, you know what? I hear bad things. I'm sure I've probably mentioned this before. Sorry for sounding like a broken record. I hear bad things. I want to see if it's worth it. And yeah, so either way, thank you all so much for watching. If you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe. Love you all, take care, and tune in next time for something completely different. Or another episode of Did I Get What I Ordered? You can check on our social media pages or hit that bell notification icon to find out what it will be. Alright everybody, so see ya!